Well, there turns out to be a major update on the shoot-around game from earlier this afternoon on my lunch break, which was in Frontier Park, the one in La Mirada, not in Cerritos. And that's for the repeat of Mary Jane's birthday, the one that I did in Brookhaven, home game earlier in June on her actual birthday. It turns out there's a major update, and it turns out that, I did an immediate podcast earlier, like right after I left Frontier Park. I thought I had lost the game. I thought I had lost three straight, and I talked about it on my way back to my dump after I went to it's formerly known as Katie's coffee shop. The Stirred Roasters. I used to go there a whole lot when Katie was around, but since then, since she left in mid-July of 2023, I have not visited as much. So I rarely visit that place now. I just happened to visit there when I was supposed to go to Coffee Bean, but there was traffic, on Carmenita just on the way back from La Mirada. So I just ended up going there, and it's not very often I go there now. So, it's almost like practically every day I just go to Coffee Bean on days that, after my every shoot around game, or even days that's, when I don't have my shoot around games. So, yeah, it just so happens that today is not one of those days that I am in Coffee Bean again. So I just ended up in Stirred Roasters. Just got, something else. One of my favorites over there was just triple chocolate. Funky Monkey is another one. So as far as this game is concerned, I did a thorough review on it, and it turns out like I actually miscounted. I miscounted particularly on the second part of the activity. 1A was good. Everything was right in 1A. But in 1B, I had the first couple of parts right, but where I made the mistake was that when I missed the mid-range shot, I thought I thought I had 27 target score points. Nope, instead it was 25. So that's where I made the mistake. And as I was doing the game, I thought I was up by 12, which was 11, which was I think 41 and 30. And then when I started missing a bunch of threes, like 4 straight, I think, that was when I thought I went down by 6. And then I thought I had lost by 3. When I reviewed this game, it turns out, as I'm looking back on my review, and my writing, and my every bit of the score, my every point here, as I tracked down. So when I got to hitting my 6th mid-range shot, to succeed the total that is needed for either the mid-range or the 3, I was up by 13, 38-25, right? And then I proceeded to miss a 3, so that cuts it back to 10, hit another mid-range. Actually, I hit 2 more straight mid-range shots, and that put me up by 14, 42-28. And then I missed another mid-range shot. That cuts it to 12, 42-30. And then it got to the 2-minute mark where it's now all nothing but 3s, 3-point attempts. And I proceeded to miss 1, 2, 3, 4 straight 3s. And that ends up tying the game at 42. I called my first timeout, 35 seconds. And then after the first timeout, I missed another 3. Then I was down by 3, 42-45. Then I proceeded to call my second timeout, which was 21 seconds. And then after that, I missed. Both of those timeouts. I had the 3-point attempts. Missed them all, right? And then continued, and then I had an out of bounds, which was at 8 seconds. I hope I was right when I started reviewing all of this, because all I used was just hand signals. I didn't feel like going up to the camera and just saying out of bounds, this many seconds, this and that. I just used hand signals this time. I'm just, for the sake of time and all of that. If the ball was out of bounds and I pick it up, I just use hand signals instead of me saying out of bounds, unless I'm close enough to the camera to even say it. But instead, I just use hand signals. So just to consume some time, just so I can get it done, not too late, since I was in La Mirada. So and then after the out of bounds, because I was called from 3, I had a practice shot. Just one practice shot, and that one I hit, and it hit right on target. But that was just a practice shot and didn't count. So after that, I continued on with the timer, and then I hit a 3. There's going to be another 3, but it's the 3 that counted to tie the game at 45. And then I had 1 second left, reset it to 5. Yes, I attempted a 4, but it did not hit. It did not hit iron, or actually, it just only hit the backboard. I'm gonna have another video. I know the shoot-around season is closing, as we got only 6 games left. But I'm gonna do another discussion video where I'll talk about like a certain in moments like this, when it comes to the last second shot and the buzzer sounds, and if the ball either goes air ball or it just hits nothing but the backboard, then that would mean that I can get another chance to hit it, as if it didn't hit the rim the first time. I already had that instance for the second Zimmer Park, the one at home, the second Zimmer Park game at home, where I attempted a 4 and then did not hit iron. Barely, it didn't even hit the backboard. So I tried again, and that's when it hit the buzzer beater 4 to win it, right? So I'm gonna do. It'll be a short discussion on that. Once I get into the court, I'll do it in my home court again, like I did with the floater and mid-range distance limit, So, but yeah, so I reset it to 5 seconds once again after the ball hit the backboard on that 4-point attempt. And then when I attempted again, it was actually a 3 this time, and that one missed. Even had a good look, but it missed. So because of that miss, it went into overtime, and I did not lose the game. So that being said, because it did go to overtime with the score being tied at 45, now I gotta find out when I'm gonna finish this, because I was supposed to do it right after work, and I went to the same park. It was filled already. Well, I got the other side, but the thing is, I had a hard time trying to position, my camera, for just to do the overtime part. And then some guy came in, and I just let him have that side of the court. And so I went to the Garden Hill one, which I haven't been to in a while. I remember going the first time in 2023 in June. This is before I started doing the shoot-around games. yeah, I just didn't have my box with me, and I didn't know where to position my camera. So I ended up leaving that park as well, and I just went straight home. So as I'm doing this update, you know, tomorrow on my lunch break, I will head to John Beat. So I will proceed to do that game still, because I know I'm trying to close out the season on time, because I want the bird season tournament to start at the beginning of October. So I had originally planned for, the remainder of this season to finish at the end of September. So, I planned for it to be September 30th, but if there's things that will have to come up and, to the point where I got to postpone some of those games, then I might as well just postpone the bird season tournament to, a later day in October, if that's the case. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm trying to close this out as much as possible. So tomorrow I'll still be doing John Beat, and then as far as finishing up the Frontier Park game, I don't know if I want to necessarily finish it over there. It'd be ideal because I did it at that park, but it was just for the sake of just trying to close out the season as much as possible. I thought about just doing it somewhere else, but on the road as well, obviously, and one that has a 3-point line. Like some of the parks in Cyprus that have basketball courts, most of them don't have a 3-point line. Russ's Park is one of them. It does not have a 3-point line. Eucalyptus Park is another one that doesn't have. There's a lot of them that don't have the 3-point line. So I'm gonna look for, if it's not gonna be Frontier Park again, like to finish off, as far as the overtime is concerned, then I should do it somewhere else where it has a 3-point line. Hell, maybe the other Frontier Park in Cerritos. So even if I finish that off somewhere else that is not Frontier Park, whether I win or lose, it's still gonna count as as the game in Frontier Park in La Mirada, even if I did the overtime somewhere else, because I did a majority of that game, from start to finish and regulation in that park. So even if I had some miscountings, and as I did my review, it's still gonna be done in Frontier Park itself, because I want to do this after work, like right after work tomorrow. And if I do happen to go over there and in that Frontier Park, what if I don't get a spot? You know what I'm saying? It's hard at times to find a spot on the basketball court, depending where I go, because there's more people on the basketball court, than there is like during my lunch break. You know what I'm saying? So I'll have to find somewhere else to finish it off. But I prefer a court that is not, that I've not played in for this season, or I played only once. For example, where was the place where I only played once? William Peak. That one has a 3-point line, and I played once, and remembering that buzzer-beating 3-point shot to win it. That's the one I did after work toward the end of February. That's another one. I already did Frontier Park twice, so not applicable this time for the third. So I'm talking about like any parts that I played either once or not at all. So, and for the sake of getting through this overtime. And speaking of the overtime, and I know I did it's something that I did lose the game. I decided to do the just shooting threes for fun. For the past couple of minutes. And to my credit, I actually hit a couple of 4-pointers, So because I did that, I said it in the other video that that they're gonna count for this overtime. So instead of starting at 45, it'll start at 53 because of the 2 4-pointers. So when the overtime starts, which will be 3 minutes and nothing but 3-point attempts, I would start at 53 to 45 instead of 45 to 45. So, I got an advantage there. I don't want to have to even think about choking the lead, even though, my season is already just as dominant as ever, amazing, just tremendous with an 80-34 record. I know I lost 2 in a row. One yesterday at home, which was a tough one. It was a close loss. As far as this one, we'll see what happens. So I haven't lost officially 3 in a row yet. So we'll have to see. I remember I have not lost 3 in a row since since the John Marshall Park game in April. That's April 4th. So hopefully I can avoid that for this one, and just hopefully I can try to win it, because I know I've been close from the 3, but maybe this time wherever I will be, I can just try to win it. So yeah, that's all I gotta say, man. This is the update I gotta give, and yep, see you guys on the court tomorrow when I get to the courts tomorrow during my lunch break and after work. All right, peace.